So just a generally bad day for Russia, as if you saw my previous video, you saw that Wagner Group is conducting a tactical pause. Now what this means is, at least temporarily, the private military company is going to stop fighting in Bakhmut. This is going to give Ukraine the ability to reinforce, to refit, to kind of dig in further and defend the city. It's a bad news for Russia because Wagner was really the only organization that was making any kind of gains in Russia. The Russian military was not. Wagner Group is the unit that took Soledar. They're the ones that were doing pretty well by Russian standards in Bakhmut. Now, why this is happening is because of the infighting between Wagner Group and the Ministry of Defense. And so the Ministry of Defense has cut them off. And so Wagner Group has said, we're done fighting until we get the support. Now, what else comes on the heels of this is an announcement that's coming from the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense, and this is pretty significant. Valery Zaluzhny, who's the head of the armed forces in Ukraine, has come forward and stated that he has an additional 60,000 Western-trained troops that are ready and are being funneled into 3 different corps with 20,000 troops in each corps. Each corps is going to contain 6 brigades. Not only are these Western-trained troops, these are troops that have been recently trained on Western tanks, such as the Abrams, the Challenger, the Leopard. They've been trained on Bradleys. They've been trained on modern artillery. So these were troops that were not on the front line, or at the very least, they were on the front line and have been trained since then. However, the reason this is significant is because it seems that Ukraine has weathered Russia's offensive, this winter offensive that was conducted, without the need of using these troops or Western equipment. That means they will be prepared and fully fresh for an offensive in the late spring, early summer against a severely depleted Russian army that threw basically everything they had, with the exception of their nuclear weapons, at trying to take places like Soledar and Bakhmut for the political gain of it. That's failed. They took Soledar, sure, but Bakhmut is still standing in Ukrainian hands for the most part, largely because of this Wagner Group situation. Now, April 1st is supposed to be when the next general conscription call-up of troops takes place in Russia. This is a yearly occurrence. It happens every year. This isn't going to be anything new. A lot of people are waiting to see if this April 1st conscription round is going to include troops that are going to go straight to the front line, in this meat grinder type of mentality that Russia has, where they just keep throwing people at it, and they're willing to lose millions so long as they take what they believe is theirs. Regardless, these 60,000 troops are going to be highly trained. They're going to be very well equipped. They're going to be very motivated to get to the fight because they see what's going on, and that's going to bode very poorly for Russia going forward. We'll have to see what Russia's conscription efforts look like, and if it even makes any difference on the battlefield. Traditionally, conscripts aren't supposed to see a battlefield until at least 6 to 9 months after they've received training, etc. But as we've seen with some of the crypto conscription call-ups they've had, where they've done it in secret, some of the attempts to pull from the prison system, some of the previous large-scale conscription efforts have shown that the Russians are just pushing people with minimal training. We're talking at most a month of training, and these troops that are coming from Western-trained arenas have had at least 3 to 6 months of training, some of them, if not more, as they started training on Western equipment early on in the war last year, when the decisions were made that Ukraine could be trained very quickly, and now they're going to reap the benefits of that. So the offensive that's upcoming is going to be pretty significant, as Ukraine not only has maintained a pretty strong troop level in its defense recently, but it's now going to surge an additional 60,000 troops in 3 corps in a combined arms effort with Western equipment, and Russia is going to have a serious problem stopping this in the May-June timeframe.